Back with head coach Scott Wooster, I'm Steve Lloyd-Jones, continuing our coverage here on National Signing Day 2023. Scott, let's look at the offensive line and tight ends in just a moment, but first, give us an overview of the offensive lineman here, which was a super strength of the Lakers. Yep. Of course, you were a big part of that. So that group up front, what it looks like, and then we'll get into specific names of who we're adding here.
Yeah, it was a really unique year for the offensive line 2022 because we didn't have a true senior in that group. Had a lot of guys that played a lot of football, but not a true senior. Obviously, Quentin Barrow was kind of the headliner in that, but in terms of recognition and name and all that. But we had a lot of those guys that played at an extremely high level. And so Q has a year of eligibility remaining, but he is declaring for the NFL draft, and he's down in Vegas right now and prepping for the East-West Shrine game. But across that board, Garrett Carroll had a really good sophomore season in 21, came on, just coming through some adversity, battling through an injury, and just had an awesome year for us. Kyler Blake Jones got his feet wet in 2021 and then just took off this year at the center position. And then we got a mid-year transfer last year from BG, Gabe Brown, local guy, East Kentwood guy. And he just, game by game, and really out the gate, he played awesome, but game by game, and he provided so much versatility because he could go from guard to tackle. And then a first-team all-conference guy that really has become our heart and soul of this football team, not just the offensive line, is Jordan Davis. So really excited. Joe Linda's another one of those guys. All-conference, provided versatility, started a lot of games for us. So when you look at the offensive line from 22 to 23, super exciting because they're coming back. Obviously, Q's one of those guys is moving on, and then the ability to get leads in football games and get guys out there in meaningful situations. So we feel like we've built a lot of depth from 22 to 23 as well. Not just those guys that played a lot of football, but guys that were able to get out on the field and get in front of 15,000 and be ready for college football when their number's called.
So a lot of depth and high-quality players, and again, COVID and how you guys each year you try to juggle the number of players at each position. So not a big number total of offensive linemen, but high-quality guys here.
Yeah. So again, the balancing part of this is the class in 2022, we took a large number because we had some depth and getting some numbers right. So we took a really big class a year ago, and not just depth, there's a ton of talent in that too. So we were very targeted in 2023 in terms of who we're going to bring in here, and extremely excited about the class that came together. The great balance of tremendous talent, some versatility, guys that can play multiple spots in the future, I believe, and some great human beings, some great dudes. So I really excited about how this class came together and how it's going to complement the class of 22 and us moving forward.
Yeah, that's right. Mike Alexander, Aaron Bradley, Cannon Mackey, Jack Story, Blake Nelson. Those are the new names you add into the mix. How about the tight end group? This four guys, man, you had to have one of the best tight end groups last year in the country, and you get some more names into that mix too.
Yeah, and obviously there's going to be some holes to fill because Slager and Cooper were really, really good for a long time and played at an elite level for a long time. So window of opportunity, Drew Peterson got out there and played a ton of meaningful snaps and dominated and really knows what it takes now to be the guy, right? And there was games that he was that guy and performed at an extremely high level. Gavin Koss, who's a guy that's been out there and has just unbelievable potential, and as he puts that together and gets out there, man, I'm excited about him because he's the guy that can set the edge, run right behind him. He can challenge a safety down the field, and he's got those abilities just like Drew does. So with the graduation of Coop and Slags, we looked at a mid-year guy, and we're bringing in Evan Furtney. He's a guy that I recruited out of high school, went to Eastern Michigan, and now he's with us right now and getting things going, and really excited about him. And then in this class, in class of 2023, again, just really working off that class of 22 and working off the skill sets that we have. So we went after Connor Smith out of Jackson Lumen Christi, a state champion. He's playing hockey right now, so tremendous athlete. and it will bring a huge physical presence to us. So if you've ever watched Jackson Lumen Christie football, Coach Brogan, it's fun to watch. It's fun football to watch. They play the game the way the game's supposed to be played. So he'll bring a huge physical presence, but he's a tremendous athlete too, and being able to get on safeties and do those things. DeAndre Hill of West Bloomfield's another guy that again fits the total picture of a tight end in our offense.
Yes.
The guy that can get the ball down the field and threaten safeties and do that, and then set edges and be physical and dominant in the run game. So really excited about those two guys. And then we got a guy, Colin Buchanan, out of Royal Oak Shrine. He's got some Laker blood in him. His dad's an alum, and he's one of those guys that, you know, growth spurt late and is really working into his body. So I see a huge potential in him with his frame and obviously his love for Grand Valley State football and keep it in the family. So really excited about that group we brought in, and tremendously excited about the group that will be out there in 2023.
Yeah, well, these are the groups that make things go, aren't they?
Yeah.
Running game, passing game. You got to have that protection. You got to have the holes to run through,
Sure.
and a really good group all around. Thank you, Scott.
You
Appreciate
bet.
it.
Thanks, Steve.